up to something. You got me all caught up. Why you did do me strong thing? You got me so in love. You must be up to something. You got me all caught up. Why you did do me strong thing? You got me so in love. You must be up to something. You got me all caught up. Why you did do me strong thing? You got me so in love. You must be up to something. You got me all caught up. Why you did do me strong thing? You got me so in love. 'Cause you must be up to something. You got me all caught up. Why you did do me strong thing? You got me so in love. You must be up to something. You got me all caught up. Why you did do me strong thing? You got me so in love. You must be up to something. You got me all caught up. Why you did do me strong thing? You got me so in love. You must be up to something. You got me all caught up. Why you did do me strong thing? You got me so in love. You must be up to something. You got me all caught up. Why you did do me strong thing? You got me so in love.
Good evening, good evening. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to Music Nights. Welcome to Music Nights with our guest tonight, Elle B. And the song that I played is a song that features the summer nominee, the summer nominated Gaba Canal. Hope I'm saying that name right. I've been thinking about that the whole time. And this song was released last year on LB Music, which is the record label of LB, which is actually quite amazing. Which is quite amazing. I like that. Like seeing people actually putting out the music for themselves and actually just putting in the work. Because at the end of the day, you reap all those rewards yourself, and you get honored for your work. So shout out for that. And yes, tonight our guest is this amazing person. I think we've been talking about having her in the space for quite a while. Perhaps it's been like 2 months, but finally we have her on tonight, and it's 11 a.m. Yes, in LA, so it's in the morning where she is, and it's in the evening down here in Cape Town. You might hear a few noises. It's quite windy today. Yo, I don't know what happened. Like August just started. It's quite windy. It's bad, bad, bad. People are flying off. But thanks for joining. Thanks for coming through. Thanks for joining Music Nights. Let me first give the mic and welcome the host of the top of the morning, the host of the Deep House Space, Lloyd. Lloyd, my friend. Good evening, happy Tuesday. Unmute. How are you doing?
Hola, hola. I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
Almost got blown away by the wind, but I'm safe. I'm steady.
Yeah, man, it's cold outside. You. Hey. Yeah, no. We're feeling it. We're feeling it. Hopefully, Ellie will get us warm on the space. Yeah,
No,
hopefully.
absolutely, absolutely. And I believe, man, it's summer in LA, so it's quite different. So before further ado, before you go too far, let's welcome Ali. Ali, good morning, good morning, all the way in LA. How are you doing this morning?
What's up? What's up? What's up, guys? I'm doing great. Good evening to you. You are correct. It's summertime here. I'm sweating actually. Just finished a workout. The sun is already blazing, so we're grateful. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, good. Oh, good. The wind is crazy from where I am. I mean, Lloyd is already saying where he at. It's quite cold, but we hope on your side that you're not using too much water, please.
Trying to, stay within the legal limits. We have a drought, but yeah, I'm doing my part.
So Ali, I mean, it's the morning. It's the morning. It's Tuesday morning, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk. Okay, it's Tuesday morning. So right now, I mean, didn't we perhaps take you off of your daily, I mean, schedule, perhaps?
No, I mean, I'm a self-employed, artist and label owner, so I can make my own schedule. But yeah, I like to get up early and start the day and get a lot of things done so I can be creative in the afternoon. So this is the perfect time.
Lovely, lovely, lovely to hear that. Thanks again for accepting the invite to Music Night, where we will dwell further into your lovely career.
Hey, thank you for having me. And if you guys hear anything, it's trash day, so you might hear some of these trash trucks in the background. Forgive me for that.
I almost thought of something else when you said trash day, but
I want to know what that is.
but let me not dwell into my own bad naughty mind. The song that I played, Ali, released 2021, featuring the summer nominated Gaba. How did that collaboration come about?
Yeah, honestly, it's just uh, when God has something for you, there's no way for you to avoid it. I was in SA and have met a few different people who eventually put me in touch with a guy called Lindani over at Electromode Ingrooves, who also works with Gaba and Boutle and a few other people. And I was preparing another song that was in the I'm a piano R&B hybrid sound called Ride. And I, was also thinking, I want to put another track on this project, but I was struggling to find producers because, I'm from outside. I don't know, the language and essay, and I was just new to trying to try out, piano. So Lindani though was like, "Hey, you have a nice CV. Might be nice if you have some vocals. I'll see if Gaba can do something." So he sent me a few tracks, and I wrote a few songs. But this one, I had written it to a completely different track. Um, that I found online actually. And I just sent the vocals to Gaba, and then a few weeks later Gaba came back with this track and I was blown away. So it was just like really not of my doing, I was just prepared and had something to send, and he just turned it into a really beautiful song.
And as you said, I mean, when God has His ways, He's got His ways, right? And you made
Absolutely.
a wonderful collaboration, wonderful song.
Thank you. Thank you. I love it. It's one of my favorite songs that I've ever done. It's so soulful and lovely. Yeah, Gaba killed it. He did a wonderful job.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And the project that you were mentioning, is it the project that you also had DJ Pop on?
Yes, yes. So DJ Pop, he produced that track for Ride, um, but he's not credited on it. Um, but we ended up doing a collaboration at the end of last year called Rise and Grind, and that's a 4-track EP that we did, and that's both of our names on that project.
Thanks for mentioning that. I'm happy that I see that it wasn't DJ Pop featuring. It's literally you and him on the project. So thanks for mentioning that. It's quite important. I keep on fighting that on my spaces each and every time. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
how did the project do?
It's done okay. It gets like it goes through phases, When it first dropped, we got to good placement on Apple Music, like New Music Daily for Focus on Me. And that's the more like R&B inspired track. And then we hear from time to time that people love Only You. I think the track and the instrumental on that, the production is just amazing and works really well, at parties. Um, but it's a bit tricky because I know that this side, Piano is not huge yet, so to get it played or get these tracks played with local DJs is hard because there's not really anybody who's playing that, So I'm slowly scouting out locations that maybe have a piano night and all of that, and trying to build those relationships so we can get some more play out here, but I'm new. I think I want to be in the space. I'm just in the queue, waiting for my turn. But the response has always been positive when people listen to the music, and it always opens more doors. But we would love, everybody would love Kapza and Musa Key's numbers, but we're on the way.
And I see on the EP cover, you have the Joburg skyline in the background.
Yeah.
Was that part of perhaps your marketing and publishing, promoting, um, I mean, marketing, sort of putting it out there that this is literally coming from Joburg, South Africa?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys know, but I was living there for a few years. I just actually got back home at the end of June. So for me, it I really tried to capture what I felt like Joburg was for me. It's like a city of dreams. I know it's the city of gold, but you see these this landscape, the Vodacom tower and the telecom, needle and all that, but like down in Joburg is like so much life, so much hustle, and that's why we titled it Rise and Grind, you know.
Oh, makes sense now.
Yes.
Totally. And on that, I mean, you mentioned that you were living in Joburg. You came here in 2017, right? If I'm not mistaken.
2018.
Oh, okay, 2018.
Yeah.
So please take us through that. I mean, did you plan just coming to South Africa? Was it a music journey that you
hmm
decided on your own, or was it something else? Perhaps was it maybe a time in your life that you needed a break from the States? Please take us through it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Honestly, it's both. I was touring for almost 8 years with Katy Perry.
as her lead background vocalist. So I've been all over the place. But in 2017, we lost my dad, and he was like my anchor, in this world. And I felt, with his passing, it was time for me to move on. Um, I felt, when you lose the loved one like that, you have so many thoughts. But the thought that kept coming back to me was, all that time I was on the road, touring away. My dad, he never gave me grief being away from home, but I felt like it had to amount to something just more than just being a background singer. So I felt like the time was right for me to continue my journey as an artist, to build something in my own name. Now, when we were touring outside of the United States, as a Black American, I only really knew of the Black experience in America. But when we were in London or just Europe, South America, Brazil, all these places, I got to see so many other reflections of what it is to be Black or to be of African descent. And it was like very beautiful and very liberating for me. But when I was particularly in Europe, I got introduced to contemporary African music. So a lot of it was Afro beats, but I also got introduced to, the likes of Mafiki Zolo. And I was so like amazed because I love pop music, being from the Katy Perry side. I love all of that. And they were so stylish and, so happy. And there was so much beauty in the music that I was like, what's going on in Africa? Like I need to take a closer look. So when I decided it was time to resign my position, I'm so grateful because, they didn't want me to go. The first time I went to management and said, hey, I think it's time. They're like, you need a break. So, okay, you can take a break. And I'm like, I think it's time. So it took about 3 meetings for them to accept that I was ready to move on. And they allowed me to move on in the middle of a tour, in fact. And I decided I was going to take a trip starting from East Africa all the way to West Africa to really understand the music and the culture that's making this sound that to me was pop, but it was obviously African. It was current, it was fresh, it was a lot of things that was very appealing to me. So I started in Ethiopia, then I went to Kenya. And while I was in Kenya, I recorded a track and shot a video there for a song called Loved About Me. And that was really amazing because I just got to hang with so many cool people and get to know their, like basically their culture. And while I was there, Katie called me and invited me to open for her and for her show in Johannesburg in July 2018. So I'd already made plans to eventually, come to South Africa, but that accelerated my travel because I had to come down and prepare. And so July 2018, I did 3 nights opening for her at the Ticket Pro Dome, and I thought that was such a huge gift, and she said to me, okay, I know that you're doing your own thing. It's going to be a step up. I didn't feel like I was ready yet as an artist, but I took the opportunity anyways. I had music out. And while I was there, I met my husband. So that's what kind of made me stay a little bit longer in Johannesburg. Plus the pandemic, we just stayed put during the pandemic. But while around that time, I was still kind of focused on like Afro beats, trying to learn, that genre and really, there's also a Gangaton that's from Kenya. I was really just trying to understand all the different genres. I also got really interested in Sun El Musician. I just loved his music. I felt like it was progressive R&B because of the kind of synthesizers he uses, but the way that his music is neat and clean and mixed so well. And then that's how I got introduced to people like Something Soweto and all these different artists. And I was like, wow, I had no idea that there was so much soul. And as a singer, there was so much, like so many amazing voices, so much amazing production. So I wanted to also kind of stay a bit longer because in South Africa, I think you guys have like so much music to explore. And it was all really interesting to me. Eventually, we did make it up to West Africa. I'd gone to Ghana and Uganda prior, but we ended up going to Nigeria, and I was able to, visit Lagos and Abuja and go to the studio there and meet people in that side. Um, and then, yeah, after that, the pandemic hit and I stayed put, and now I'm back home. So that's kind of how my whole journey went. It started with a promise to my father, to continue continue the journey that I set out to do, and met my husband in the process. And then I just got to really immerse myself, fully in what it is to be modern and African. And it's been so amazing for me.
Beautiful. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful short story you just given us. Uh, yeah, I mean, for the fact that you took it upon yourself to explore yourself, to explore music. Um, that's lovely because I think it needs to be inside of you. This thing, it needs to be inside of your soul. You need to eat this thing.
I agree.
So that's quite important that you actually came around, just checked us out, and you fell in love, which is good, which is also
For
lovely.
real, like all the way, all the way in
Imagine,
love.
imagine that. Imagine that, eh? Before I carry on, I just want to mention to everyone in the space, there's always the platform is always welcome. You can always be a part of the conversation. You can also request the mic and perhaps share some flowers or some thoughts to our guests tonight. This is a very, very safe space. We've been doing it for quite a while now that we have international artists, people perhaps we never even thought that we'd be actually communicating with or just having a chat with. So you're most welcome to grab the mic and be a part of this conversation. I always just started off and just open things up a bit. Lloyd sometimes complains, but we've just worked like this. We've just worked like this. So Ali, okay, you've mentioned some of your journey in SA, some of your love life too. So I wanted to take it really back now. Just take it from the beginning for us, please. Most of us, I think, only also just got to really know you as you joined our space. That's when I started researching you as well as your music. Could you please let us know? So, where is Ellie from? Where is Ellie from? Where did this music thing really start? Thank you.
Yeah. So, thank you for having me. And yeah, so I'm originally born and raised in Los Angeles, California. My mom is from Oakland by way of Texas. My dad is from Michigan, Detroit. And I grew up in a musical family. My mom was a trained classical singer, imagine. Um, and my dad just played, music in the house. So we were that family Saturday morning, cleaning up the house. My dad had the sound system, and we were always grooving. So that's really where I fell in love with music. I always loved to dance, I always loved performing. My first love was probably Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson. And I just remember believing or thinking, when I grow up, I want to be on stage. Um, but I really started to sing because I was a bit shy. We have a lot of interesting politics in our community, one of those being colorism. And I'm a little chocolate girl, so there are times that I would put up myself for things, not necessarily music related things, but I would go out for positions or, always put my hat in the ring. But, sometimes I don't really get picked. And I had this gift, though, to sing. And it just removed all doubt and all barriers. So at some point, I said, well, you know, if I'm going to have a voice or if I'm going to be heard, I have to use my singing voice. And that's the thing that really changed my life. It always helped me to be competitive or to get noticed. And so initially, that's really what singing was for me. But then when I went to university, I was studying something completely different. My degree is in political science. I thought I was going to go to law school, but I had a great time in university, but I just missed singing. And so, much to my parents' disappointment, after I graduated, I told them, hey, I'm going to be a singer. And the very first show that I had, my parents showed up at the last song. They just sat there and looked at me like, why? But that's just one generation and another, and I'm grateful that they did what they could to allow me to choose, my own path. And they eventually came around and supported me, and came to the shows on time. And so I've put out some projects. 2009, the LB EP, and did a video for a song called Alibi. And this was all more like R&B style. I've always been interested, I think, in global sounds and global rhythms, and I've always been interested in electronic music. So it's been hard though, because, again, coming from the Black American community, it's like, we sometimes are very rigid, in our identity politics. So me wanting to sing pop, or me wanting to do electronic music, I would always have to go into spaces where I was maybe the only person that looked like me, because I couldn't really find it at home. And I think ultimately that did lead me to be a global citizen. I think, it led me to different spaces, which ultimately brought me to touring with Katy Perry, which was nothing like the community I grew up in, nothing like home, but it really gave me a chance to see the world and take my talents to all the places that I always wanted to be and to be seen. Um, so that's kind of like a very short story about, who I am and how I came to be here, even in the spaces. I think at a very young age, I've always been like, where are the people that I want to know? Where are the sounds, that I want to hear or be a part of? And I think I just developed, I guess, a little bit of bravery, from a young age, to just go. And I'm so grateful, especially for spaces like this, because you can't just walk up into anybody's hood anywhere, but if I wanted to, understand or be immersed or be a part of a community in South Africa, even if it's through Twitter, I think you guys have made that space so available for people like me who are curious and who are creative and want to build. And so, yeah, that's it.
Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. You went. You're not so shy after all. Come on, Ellie. You're not so shy.
It's by force. It's by force. Honestly, only when I'm singing, that's when you see like the fearless side of me. Otherwise, I'm laid back, I'm chilled. I just want to watch and observe, and I'll show up. Don't get me wrong, I'll always be in the mix. But it's only when I take the microphone that it's like, all right, guys, now I'm in control. Otherwise, I'm happy just to be a member, and to, vibe with everybody else. It's two sides of me. Mm.
I love it.
Hmm.
I love all sides. I love all sides.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you remember your first performance, Ellie? Do you remember actually your first concert, standing up and actually performing to people?
Uh, yes.
How was
Um,
that? How was that?
Gosh, let me think. Okay, so my first performance is LB, and I'll say that because before that it was like choirs and things. Um, because I would be like, where is it at? Let me go, let me join. But the first time I took the stage as LB, it was a long time ago now, 2005, when I graduated university. I know I'm grown. Um, and a friend of mine had a nonprofit called Blacks in Action. They were a community organization that did like volunteer in the community. And she was having a fundraiser. And so she's like, hey, I can put you, you can perform. So I had a small band, I had some background singers, and I had some original songs that I performed and some covers. And it was my very first performance as LB. And I kept going after that. And yeah. It was great. It was a great experience. I wasn't too shy or nervous because, again, like I had been in choirs and I had done solos and I'd been singing since I was 13. But the first time I'm like, here are my songs. This is my original music. This is my band. This is what I'm serving was in 2005. Yeah.
And as a young African American black woman, how is coming out into industry and standing up on your own 2 feet? I mean, how was the reception from other people in the industry?
You know what? Honestly, I'm not going to lie. Like, I've never had bad experiences. I'll be very honest with you. So, when I do talk about some of these things that may seem a little negative, it's just, it's not even like that people are mean or like we have a lovely culture. We have a lovely, like, I love where I come from and who I am. But there are things that you notice that are unspoken, you know. So for example, sometimes you'll be in the studio, you can demo the song, you can write the song, but the artist that they put it on sometimes is, you know, a girl who can't really sing, but she has like the look, you know. And so you realize that those opportunities sometimes go towards certain people who are maybe not as talented. But I was never rejected for my talent. I was never really not invited to join spaces. It's just in terms of advancement, sometimes it seemed like I was passed up. And it could also be me. Maybe I wasn't ready, but I don't know. There's a song from an artist named Sugar Free. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And that's the gospel. So I don't think it's for the fact that I wasn't ready. I think it's just sometimes those politics of, you know, where people feel who should be seen versus who should not be seen. You know, it's never really told to you, but you do see that, yeah, some things maybe don't go the way that they should, you know. Yeah. Based on
And
talent alone. Yeah, yeah.
and as an artist today who's got her own record label, who's standing on her own, are you still facing perhaps some of those challenges, some of those obstacles?
No, I'm not. I mean, maybe they're there, but I don't try to build in those spaces, right? I think it's like, I always think of the ocean, you know, and it's like, I'm not made for the ocean. I'm not a fish. If I try to get in the ocean, I'll drown. But what have we done? We've built boats, we've built planes. Like, the ocean is not something to cry about. It's beautiful, right? But it's just not for me. So I think a lot of my journey has been finding the spaces where I can be myself and where people value what I have to offer. And I think my life has reflected that there's opportunity everywhere. Um, I'm not like a person who's like, oh, you know, let me cry about spilled milk. It's like, okay, it's okay. That space is for someone else, but there is a space for me in this life. And that's why we all are alive. We all have a purpose, and some of our journey is finding where we fit and finding where, you know, we can grow. And I think I've done okay with that. Yeah.
Beautiful. Very, very, very. I'm loving this. I'm liking this, and that's why the space is recorded, so we can go back and listen to some of these amazing views that you're sharing with us. And also, I think you spent enough time with us to actually grasp and know who we are now. So
Hey, I love
even
you people, man.
you
Like my
know even how
cousins.
I ask questions now. You know me how I ask questions. You know you know me. So shout out to you. Thanks
Thank
again
you.
for coming
Thank you.
through. I thought before we exhaust our amazing voices, I think I've got an amazing voice. I think I can sing one of these days. I think I'll try it.
So, Vokzman, go ahead and give us a note. You know, do you know Mary Had a Little
Feel.
Lamb? You can give us a little something real quick.
Um, Let me not chase away the listeners. Let me not chase away the listeners.
Who's the shy one now, my friend?
Let's play a song. Let's play a song, and then we'll come back. I will come back with our interview with Ellie. We'll talk to you a bit more regarding perhaps even after your first performances, after you release your first EP, traveling with Katy Perry, and I believe that could have been that was amazing. I mean, you performed in amazing, world-renowned places. So we're gonna talk about that too, and just find out a bit more about you. I'm looking forward to it. The
Cool.
song that I'm gonna play um, is is your cover of "Find Your Love." I mean, "Find Your Way Back" by Beyonce. Before I play it, could you share with us, please, how the collaboration came about with you featuring Silaelo Silota? Yes.
Yes. So I was so lucky to have people connect me when I first came to South Africa. Um, And one of the people I was connected with is a young woman named Tanil Nelson, who is an artist, was signed with Sony a long time ago, and she's friends with Salai Low, and I think he helped her in her first album. And so he was looking to do his Eight Colors of the Rainbow project, which is now on all the DSPs, and I'm also on that project. So when we were in the studio, Salila was like, well, if you ever need anything, and I was like, I have this cover I want to do. So you're here, you play guitar, I want a live guitar, can you play it? So when I went to the studio to record for him, before the end of the session, I just had him play the guitar for me. So when you listen to this, it's Salilo who's playing the guitar on this cover.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I think collaborations are very important in music. We need them. They are quite important in all forms. In all forms. So as I mentioned, "Find Your Way Back" by Beyonce, but this is the Elle B cover. Please enjoy.
Daddy used to take me walking down the street. Daddy used to take my hand, say follow me. Daddy used to leave me back home all the time. I got big enough to run around, Daddy left me outside. He said, find your way back. It's a big, big world, but you got it, baby. Find your way back. Don't let this one drive you crazy. Find your way back. Come back home with the street lights on. Find your way back. Find your way back. Daddy used to tell me, look up at the stars. It's been a long time, I remember who you are. The circle of life, and one day I might not make it. It's a circle of life, and one day I might not make it. And you just gotta find your way back. Big, big world, you got it, baby. Find your way back. Don't let this one drive you crazy. Find your way back. Come back home with the street lights on. Find your way back. Find your way back. Daddy used to teach me all my moves. Running around wild every time my shoes. Itty bitty child with a smile like you. Wild, wild time with a lot like you. Daddy used to teach me all my tricks. Running around wild had to get my fix. Daddy used to teach me all my plays. On a marathon and to run my race. Find your way back. It's a big, big world, but you got it, baby. Find your way back. Don't let this one drive you crazy. Find your way back. Come back home, the street lights on. Find your way back. Find your way. Oh. Come on and find your way. Come find your way. Find your way. Say find your way back. Big, big word, but you got it, baby. Find your way back. Don't let this life drive you crazy. Find your way back. Come back home with the street lights on. Find your way back. Oh, find your way back.
And that is "Find Your Way Back" by Beyonce, and that's the LEB cover. I think my network is doing me bad. Apologies for that. It's doing me very bad, but it's the wind. It's the Cape wind. Yes, it's the Cape wind. Um,
Excuses.
come on, man, Lloyd. Ellie, where can people find the song? Because I You shared the song on another platform, but where can people find it?
Yeah, this song is not released on any DSPs. It's all just on AudioMac. So I'll put the link in the comments for this spaces if you want to check it out. Yeah.
Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
And when was the song made?
I covered it. I think this was also 2018. I believe, and I chose that song because I think it perfectly wrapped up the reason why I was even, on this journey. Back to Africa, and also about, gosh, your dad, telling you to find your way. And so it was super inspirational for me.
No, thank you, thank you. There's a comment here that's asking, Ali, how is your name pronounced? Because this person is saying, I'm Vokzmaning your name, because I'm known for butchering people's names. So please,
uh,
Ali, could you please share with everyone in the space?
Okay, comme français, like French L. So it should just be L, Ellel, like the letter. But Ellie is very common. Most people make it two syllables. So however you call me, I'll know that you're speaking to me. But the meaning behind my name, everyone in my immediate family, my mom, dad, my two brothers, and I, our first name starts with the letter L. So Laura, Lionel, Langston, Lauren, and Lawrence. And so when I decided to put my artist name out, I wanted to represent my small tribe, my small gang. And so that's where LB comes from, the LB family.
Lovely, lovely. The throw off, you heard that? So I'm not voxomizing. Now there's a name for what I do. Ooh-wee. Anyway, let me give the mic to Lloyd. Lloyd, my brother, the platform is yours. Unmute.
I love that Vokzmaning names. I think it's gonna stick. It has to stick.
Yes.
You Vokzmaning people's names. Yeah, yeah. That is the one, KOS. Thanks. Uh, Vokzmaning people's names. Anyway, how are you, Ellie?
I'm wonderful, Lloyd. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. This piece was long overdue, by the way. You've been joining us. I don't know how long, but yeah, it's been long overdue. So my question to you is there like a producer that you'd love to work with that you discovered after you've left South Africa? Is there like one particular producer like, dang, I should have met him while I was still in South Africa?
Um, I don't that I've met after. Um, I'm not sure. I would love to still maybe work with like Sun L musician. I love his music. I don't know if I met him after, but I think there's so many like cool like house producers that I've been introduced since I've been joining, everything house music. Um, I love is it China Carmelian? I think he's super cool. Obviously Soul Africa is like amazing. So I think yeah, I think I can still do some collaborations remotely. We'll just see how it all goes, you know?
So are you selective with those collaborations, or you take everyone?
Uh, okay, so I think now maybe I must become a little more selective because I've done a lot of collaborations. And sometimes you do these collaborations and then like they don't promote the project or it's like you put a lot of effort into doing the work and maybe you get some disappointments. So I'm very open. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like a diva or something. I'm not a diva. But I think now what I'm looking for, you don't have to be, um, you know, on the top 100 for South Africa streaming, but you should just have like a good representation of your work out there and show that you are actively trying to get more listeners and fans. I'm not making music for the archives on your computer. So that's the only real barrier or the only real standard that I have. And I was telling Voxman today I wanted to drop something, but it was the case, that I don't know what happened. It could have been load shedding, delayed things, or what. But yeah, the collaboration didn't pan out. So I wanted to drop some new music for you guys today. So what I decided to do is I just have the vocals that I wrote, similar to how I did the collaboration with Gaba. And if there is any producers that are out there, I have a small form on my link tree. You can just sign it, and I can send you the session files, and you can produce a track. And if we believe that it's like amazing, then we can talk about releasing it. So I'm open. So instead of writing something new, I'm just sharing two different songs that I've already written and that are ready to go for producers who might want to collab, and we go from there.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
yeah.
So, I've come to realize that it's easier for a vocalist who started off as an R&B singer to be squeezed in a deep house or a house music track, and vice versa. You starting off as a deep house. Let's say I'm a producer and Shirley Evans. I had Shirley Evans sing, possibly maybe she posted Instagram story singing. I'm like, hey Shirley, I hear that you're so good. Can we like work? Shirley's like, okay, cool, let's work. And then her first breakthrough, it's let's say for example, she she then releases with me a deep house song, and then the song becomes big. And then when Shelly now starts to release her own music, and then she jumps into R&B. Why is it so seamless and so easy for R&B and deep house vocalists to actually um, mesh together?
I think it's from the beginning of the genres. I think house music is started in Chicago, and there's something called Chicago soul, and that comes from the history even of gospel music, which informed rhythm and blues. So I think when you talk about these genres, they're kind of all relatives. um, I just think what makes it unique and fresh is the perspective of the producer. But I think first and foremost, they both must love the foundation of those art forms. And if they do, then I think it's very easy to create something that matches well together. That's what I believe.
Right, right. I think maybe I missed it. Did you say you know how to produce your own music?
I do, yeah, I do. So that cover, I produced it myself and mixed it and mastered it, recorded it as well. And then there are a few tracks that I also have out that I've also, mixed and mastered and recorded myself. So I'm trying to get better, but um, I really love it. I mean, if there's something past singing that I love, it's engineering and it's producing. It's really, really fun.
Nice. I was gonna say I've seen a lot of vocalists producing for themselves. I'm like, okay, Ellie, you need to step up, but you know how to do it. So yeah. Vokzman.
Now, shout out Lloyd. Shout out. Thanks for grabbing the mic, brother. Today you actually did. You're saying things these days. You're not so bad. These days is talking. He never talks. He never talks. In the evenings when you're hosting spaces. But shout out to Lloyd, the host of the Depot Space. Shout out to everyone else for coming through. We thank you. We thank you so much. I even see that we have the legend himself, Zion, in the space on Thursday. On Thursday, we're going to be having music, everything house music with him. So looking forward to that too. Shout out, brother. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming through. Ellie. So you're mentioning how you toured, um, how you toured with Katy Perry and how that transition went about from starting your own career. Could you please take us perhaps through some of the highlights of working with Katy Perry and being the lead backup singer? How was that experience? I mean, working with a huge pop star like her.
Yeah, man. Life changing. Sometimes I have to ask myself, did that really happen? Because it really was like my biggest dream come true. Not necessarily the artists themselves, but to have all of those experiences. But of the artists, of Katie and her team, man, they really treated me so well during the time I was working for them. So again, like me, I just take chances, even coming, leaving that position and coming, down to Kenya and South Africa is taking a chance. So even me working with her was me taking a chance. So 2010, 2010, 2009, 2010. I started the year in Ethiopia. So I got a contract singing with a live band. There was a family who had a bar there, and they wanted to have an American band. So they hired us. There were five of us. We lived and worked there for 2 months, Addis Ababa, and then a city called Owassa. So when I came back, I was looking for work, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna just have to take some office job or something. And I got a call from a buddy of mine who was a bass player and was like, hey, Katy Perry's having auditions for background singers. You should go. And just 2 weeks before that, I had gone to audition for Mary J. Blige, who was looking for background singers. And I didn't make it past the first round, So I'm like, this girl, this pop rock girl, there's no way she's looking for someone like me. But I said, if I don't have a job tomorrow, it's my own fault. So I took my time, I went, paid my phone bill. I don't know what I was thinking. I made my way slowly, got there, said, oh, okay, yeah, I'm here for auditions. Next thing I know, they're like, oh, well, we're going to have a lunch break, but if you can stay, we can see you after. I stayed through the lunch break. I got a chance to meet the band. The band was telling me, you should sing like this. This is what she's looking for. Like, this never happens in auditions, It's very strange. So, lunch is over. She goes to the restroom. I get a chance to practice the song with the band. They're checking my levels, asking me how the monitor is. I'm like, this never happens. You go to auditions, it's in and out. You're just sweating, bullets the whole time. So basically, she comes back in the room. The song was California Girls. California Girls were unforgettable. Is the first single from the Teenage Dream album. And lo and behold, she hired me on the spot and I started the next day. And I lied and said that I knew someone I didn't know so that I can even get in the audition. And at the end, she said, oh, you said you know so and so? I was like, oh, no, I thought you said this person. She knew I was BSing, but I was ready, and I that was the beginning of my tenure with her for the next 8 years. And in the show, there's a point where for that tour, for the California Dreams tour, there was a point where she had a long wardrobe change and they needed to have a musical moment. And so at first it was a Michael Jackson song, Scream, Let's Shout, Let's Start It Out. And then that ended up not working and it went to I Want Candy, but it was like hype up the crowd and all that. So they're like, Elle, just go out there and do your thing. And there was another background vocalist, but I don't know. She just thought I had the right energy and the right, strength, to take over her audience for that 2 minutes, and that's how I got that position as a lead background vocalist and an opportunity every night to, take the mic and lead the audience. Sometimes 10,000 people. It was a really amazing experience. Um,
I can only imagine.
yeah, it was
I
the
mean,
stuff of things, man.
um, and how, I mean, how was the relationship also between you and the team and Katie? I mean, I'm also asking in terms of I see Katy Perry as this white pop um, girl artist, right?
Mhm.
As in this white pop. I mean, you're like sort of Miley Cyrus, that kind of music.
Mhm.
And I look at you, I'm like, okay, this black woman, and we know our black music that comes from a black woman. But how did that relationship actually work? Was it just more behind the music, or was it just it just came right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's easy to judge a book by their cover. I'll be honest, before I had that opportunity, I also was like, there's no way, we are not nothing alike. And even when I was on that job, a lot of my friends were like, we only care about this job because you're there. Like, we could care less. And it was so funny, because those two worlds don't really overlap, in a real way. But what you learn is that human beings are all the same. We all have families. We all come from somewhere. We all have ambition that drives us. And when you meet people along the way who recognize that you have that same fire and passion that they do, then you know that you're surrounded by people that understand what it takes to put up a show like that, or who understands what it means um, to compete at that level. And so I think that she always showed me love because she understood what I was after. And it was after excellence. It was after being the best that I could be. It was after, seeing all the places that I could possibly fit. And in that time, obviously, I started as the artist Elle B before I ended up background singing for her. So I always went in with the mindset that, number one, I'm going to give her what I would want. If I was in her position and I had a background singer, I'm going to give her what I would want. And I think she always respected that because it means that I anticipated what she needed. And then the other part of it is I never really tried to be like a kiss butt, because I'm like, I'm still Elle B, and Elle B is not here to be a career background singer. Elle B wants a Grammy. She wants her own legacy. So at the end of the day, this is just a part of my journey, but I'm her peer. So I want to be sitting next to her at the award shows, not just waiting for her to, pat me on the back and say good job. So I think those two things, I think it resonated with her. And we always had a very good working relationship. With that many people, like at one point on tour, we had the tour was so big, we had 15 semi trucks that were on the road to carry the stage. And that's just the trucks to carry the stage. We had like maybe 14 different tour buses. It was a massive production. So, when in her position, you can't play favorites. You can't, you have to be fair because you have a lot of people you have to motivate, and you have to have a lot of people that you have to motivate to make sure that when you sell those tickets you can do that show. But if I ever needed anything, they always looked out for me. And I think to be so far away from home with people who do not know where I come from, I think they did right by me in a lot of ways. And I tried to always make sure I brought my A game, to show my appreciation and gratitude.
Oh, lovely, lovely. I think our time with you, Ellie, has been coming, and you're sharing gems with us. So thank you so much, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Before we just carry on with perhaps some of the performances that you went through with Katie, and then even after that, um, does she sing as good as she sounds on her music, or is the music filtered? I mean, I'm not trying to sound bad or anything, but does she sing as good as she sounds?
Uh, I think that Katy Perry is definitely a pop rock girl. I think that she shines when she's behind her guitar singing acoustic. I think that's her real lane. I think pop success, everybody needs help to do pop because it's not your pop is what's current. So Dark Horse, for example, is like a trap inspired song. She's not a trap artist. So you have to respect even people like Cardi B or Meg Thee Stallion or anybody, even Nicki Minaj. She's not a singer, but when the genre of pop music change where you have to sing and rap like Drake, that's not their strong suit. They're better at one thing for sure. But because they're excellent at everything, they do well to pull it off. But that is why you do have background singers, right? Who help you to give all that performance, but also hold down some part of the vocals while you have to dance, while you have to run into 10,000 people, while you have to do all those things. So she's definitely a talent. But I think when you start talking about that pop level, you need support. And I think people, if you just look at that and say, oh, she's not this or she's not that, then I think you miss really what it is to be an artist who has gone global, you know? Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. And whilst working with her, were you? I mean, were you working with her also, making the music, not only performing?
No, unfortunately not. So I was just a part of the live experience.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. But none of us were, honestly, none of the band or any of us were in that side. And that's kind of where you start to get into the politics of the music industry. Because a lot of her biggest hits were with like Max Martin, and Dr. Luke, um, and all those guys. And they have, when you get into the music industry, people have teams, right? But their teams are there to support them because it's kind of dog eat dog. You know, there's so much money to be made in the business that you have to always surround yourself with people you know are not going to undermine you. So even if someone really loves you, the artist has to go into that producer's world and get what they need to get from that producer. They can't say, oh, let me bring in my preferred person and bring in my preferred person. They also have to go in and, you know, have the experience of that producer, if that makes any sense, you know? So there wasn't that many opportunities for us in that way because they're just really different parts of the music business.
I guess there are. I guess there's more politics than one knows. I guess
Yeah,
there
it's a
are.
lot. It's a lot that goes on.
Some of the places that you performed at the White House, you performed at the Super Bowl halftime show, at the Grammys. Which ones really stood out? I mean, which one do you look back and like, this one was really a life changing, once in a lifetime moment?
Can I share a few? I don't know if there's one.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so the first time I performed at the Grammys, that was massive for me because I always wanted to do that. And a few years before, I bought a ticket with a friend of mine. And I was like, if I'm ever going to get on that stage, I need to be in the room now. And we had the most nosebleed seat. You needed like binoculars just to see the stage, man. But we still got dressed up and we went. So by the time it happened, I said, oh, this thing of manifesting, it really works. So let me just keep going. The next one, we played Wembley Stadium. And that one was massive because I remember before anything talking to my dad. My dad said, hey, if you're serious about this and you really work hard, you can be playing Wembley. You can be playing Madison Square Garden. And I think that day I called my dad and said, Dad, you're so right. You know, thank you for encouraging me. And I think even he was like, oh, I was right. You know, it was like we didn't believe that something like that could happen for us, you know. And that same that same night was like super cool. Anyways, and then the third one definitely was Super Bowl because that night Lenny Kravitz was there, Missy Elliott was there, and I'm like, this is so massive, and all the homies back home were watching it. You know, people were sending me screenshots like, we caught you. You know, I wasn't that visible, but that was like probably the one that all my friends cared the most about, and they were like, we can't believe it, you know. So that one was for the family, that was for the hood. That was amazing.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. Shout out to those performances. I mean, you've been in really amazing big arenas around the world, and I guess it's also made the amazing artist, the amazing singer that you are today.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so grateful, you know. I'm so grateful. It's been a really wonderful experience, you know. So now I'm like, what's next? You know, I'm on to the next thing. I don't even really think about those things too much anymore because I just want to continue have new experiences and see if we can get back there, but with LB on the ticket this time, you know, on the marquee.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Yes, I'll be on the marquee. It sounds good. Sounds good to me. And then I think you started your solo career. There's a quote. From you regarding the Noia EP. Am I saying it right? Noia?
Oh, noir.
Noah.
Hmm.
Ish. Ish. And the quote goes like,
Vokzman.
"Come on, Lloyd. Come on. Don't make me look bad like this." Um, the quote goes, "Noah with an E." Is where I began to examine myself away from all the American race politics, seeing different expressions of black people, especially black women, helped me lighten my load, especially in my art. It was this journey that eventually led to the concept of carefree R&B. Whew. Could you share with us a bit more about this quote, where it
Yeah,
stems from and comes from?
absolutely. Okay, so I mentioned before, what kind of led me to come and explore, the continent, was just that, it was being outside, like being in Brazil, for example. It's like there's a huge, Afro population there, and those fans are like amazing. But they would send me like pictures of other artists in Brazil that they're like, oh, you remind us of her, you remind us of her. And in America, you don't really know, that there are other people that look like you or that are also on the same journey or path in a different place. And people don't have the same what we call like the inheritance, of like American racism and all that, which is so heavy. And I hate having to even mention it, but it's such a big part of, like, I think our journey, as a people. And to be outside and have new people relate to me in a completely different way that was not, I mean, obviously you can see that I'm, I'm of African descent, but that's it. They're just like, it's not all that other stuff added to it. And you realize, like, wow, okay, if there's another place on the planet where I can move like this and not have, so why am I even worried about that heaviness and that load? And sometimes people back home, some women especially, they'd be like, oh, you're just carefree, you don't care about anything. And I was like, okay, maybe they didn't mean it in a positive way. But I'm like, if I can see that I'm free or that I can be free, well, you can't tell me that I'm supposed to go back and be unfree. There's no way. So I decided that, with R&B, which is where I come from, so much of the music is about heartbreak and pain and all that. And I'm like, if I don't want that in my life, then I can't continue to sing that over my life. I can't continue to write lyrics for that. That's not my destiny. So I have to change even the way that I write lyrics. I have to change the way that I approach song. I have to change what I even give the audience. Am I going to feed them, freedom, or am I going to feed them something else? And it was just a choice. And I think that has been so liberating for me, and it's only come from being able to see African people in the diaspora all over the world, who have shown me another way. And I think, and also on the continent. And I think for me, that is why I call it carefree R&B. I put R&B with what I think are global sounds that really are informed by African rhythms, but contemporary. So whether it's electronic, whether it's R&B, whether it's whatever, it's whatever you hear me singing about and whatever you hear me giving as an artist. It's going to remind you to look at the bright side of life, because we are alive, we are free, we should focus on those things. Even though circumstances can be bad today, that's not your whole life. So why are you going to sing for your whole life about sadness and sorrow? You should celebrate it. So that's, noir was the beginning of that conversation for me. um, it was the beginning of that conversation as an internal dialogue. And I think where I am now, with the music that I release now, and with the journey that I had over the last 4 years, it's solidified to me. I can't go back. I can't go back.
Lovely. Yes, I've given you the mic in our spaces a couple of times, but today I'm really enjoying this interaction that we're having with you. Thank you so much, Ali, who's in LA. I think right now it's just after 12. Yeah, it's just after 12, I think, right? If I'm not mistaken, Ali, your
Yeah, it's
side,
just after 12. Yeah.
just after 12. Yeah, that side it's nine, just after 9 in the evening. And this is Music Nights. Shout out to everyone for joining us. There's also Kojo Akusa. I reached out to him regarding hosting him on one of our spaces, and today was me just showing him how we do this. So when he comes, eventually, we just have it a smooth ride with him. So shout out Kojo, thanks for coming through, brother. We've scheduled a space with him for next week. Next week Wednesday. Next week Thursday. Yes. So look out for that. Look out for Everything House Music with Kojo Akusa. I recently made a remix for Natty Nice. Yes, and it's out and it's amazing. So shout out to you, brother, and thanks to everyone else for coming through and joining us with our guest, of course, Ellie, the amazing Ellie. I'm gonna pass on the mic to Boy Smart. Boy Smart has grabbed the mic and he's on the platform, and I believe he'd like to share some things with us. Boy Smart, good evening. Good evening, brother. Please unmute. How are you doing? Welcome to Music Night.
Good evening. I'm Boy Smart from Lagos, Nigeria. I do Afrobeat music, and I'm just joining this space for the first time. And I want to say big shout out to Ellie. I actually just enjoy her speech, and I think I learned one or two from her speech.
Thank you. What's up, brother? How are you doing? Shout out
I'm
to,
good. I'm good. I'm good.
as they say, how you day?
I'm chilling. I did fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Good,
think I
good.
think I'm gonna follow you up right now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Nice to hear
Yeah,
your
yeah.
voice.
Thank you.
No, shout out, Boy Smart. I almost said something else to your name, but I think I kept it right. I think I kept it right. So before I play another song, Ellie, play another song, um, where is Ellie headed to next?
Okay. Yeah,
That's
I
quite a
think,
vague question. I know it's quite vague, but where is Ellie headed to next?
yeah, on the way up, as DJ Khaled says, on the way up. No, we are on the way. LB and LB Music is about growing the carefree R&B sound. It's about growing with the contemporary African sound here in the States. It's not really peaked. It's not really at the level, where I think it will grow. So I think it's about collaborating with artists from that side and producers from that side to make sure that whatever I'm given also has authenticity to it, so that people really understand the sound and it's controlled by its creators, but making it accessible through making sure there's some English speaking components, because I think language is a real big barrier. As Americans, we only speak English, um, and that's hard for us because we are not really global citizens, if we have to be honest. So making sure that there's a bridge for the music that I think is coming and that will dominate the world very soon. I think as a label owner, growing my label, and I'm working on changing the name from LB Music to something that's not specific to me as an artist, and really taking what I know and what I've learned, to helping producers and artists um, build their brands So I want to be in a position as like a stepping stone for artists and for producers who want to go global. And going global, maybe it's not, you know, Beyonce levels or even Black Coffee level, right? That's like they're superstars, right? But there's very much a way to be a part of, uh, a part of the world music stage. And it's just about being intentional, how you deal with your brand, how you market yourself, and working with people who have the passion to do so. I'm working with an artist from Kathleen right now. She was going by Pansula Queen, but she's changing her name to Chave. She's a young woman. She's super talented, has traveled abroad as well, dancing is Pansula. And she's just a go-getter, so we're just working on her branding and trying to find the ways to support her efforts from afar. But we'll have a collaboration coming soon. Um, I think he's gone now, but Joker Ray, there's another producer who's from Mpumalanga. He puts out a project called Sandyville, that I have a feature on that project, but we're also working on something for Valentine's Day, and it'll be an EP that he's collaborating with an artist named Sir Wee out of Nigeria. So I think it's really about, like what they call Pan-African collaborations, from my side and from every other side, and not really focusing on anything that's like exclusionary, like not including people, but just making sure that when we enter, the market, we dotted our I's and we crossed our T's, and doing it from like a very global standard. And I think that my label and my perspective will help people who are serious to achieve that. And so producing production, I'm working with people here who are trying to get into maybe the Afro sound, and engineering. So I'm doing a lot of things, but it's all kind of in the same vein. As much as I said, okay, I want Elle B on the marquee for sure, but I think being someone who can support, sort of the larger community that I'm a part of, with my experience, I think is really important. Obviously, from a business standpoint, it's not for free, or it's not, for charity. It is to build up my label, but I'm looking to help people who want to grow, and using my label as a stepping stone for them to go on and do greater things.
Absolutely beautiful. I look forward to all the successes. Look forward to seeing you on these big arenas and big platforms, and seeing you global. I look forward to it. I look forward to
Yeah.
that.
Thank you.
And perhaps also, yeah, when you come back here to South Africa and seeing you perform, I'd love to really see that.
I know. Working on that.
That would be good. That would be good for the heart and the soul and just everything. That would be good. Let's give the mic to. I see the hand is raised from Boy Smart. But Boy Smart, can you hold
Yeah.
it just there? Let me play a song and then we'll come back to you. Nah? Yeah. Shout out, brother. Shout out. The song that I'm gonna play a song that is titled "Conversations." And Conversations, Ali, came out this year from the compilation Priceless, right?
Yes. Yes. So I'm not sure if we'll get to Lion before the end of the day, but this is more the pop side of Elle, right? So it's from that Katy Perry world, and I still have quite a few people who reach out who want a very pop, R&B vocal. And so Mastercard has this new sonic identity, da-na-na-na-na-na, and they wanted to do an album of songs that have that music motif, and they wanted it to be global. So I'm the artist on that project. And MasterCard, if you know, it's like MasterCard, Visa, the cards that you swipe. So I'm the artist that represents the United States. And this song is called Conversations. And it's like a super poppy version of Elle B.
Oh, beautiful intro. I like that. One day I wish to do it better. I wish to do it just like you. I wish to do it just like that. Instead of
Vokzman, you got it on lock. Don't even worry. You got it on lock. You don't even worry.
thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yes, conversations by Ellie, our guest tonight. Please do enjoy. Please do enjoy some of these. Some. What's happening now? Is it me again? It's the wind. It's the wind. Oh, okay, okay.
The sun comes up, yeah, damn me fine. How you looking into my eyes? Can I take you home tonight? Wanna feel your touch. If you wanna come, you gotta say it. Oh yeah, 'cause you been on my mind. You got me dum da da dum dum dum. If you wanna come, you better say something. You gotta say it. You drive me crazy, oh baby, I can't deny these conversations. You got me dancing on ceilings. You got me feeling these feelings. These conversations. You know it's my heart just stealing, and if it breaks, I need healing. These conversations. You and me, we be rocking on a fantasy. Just need you here with me. Promise I won't mess this up. Cause when you smile, got me feeling on a cloud nine. Body looking so incredible. Think I'm falling in love. If you wanna come, you gotta say it. Oh yeah, 'cause you've been on my mind. You got me done, da da dum dum dum. If you wanna come, you gotta say something. You gotta say it. You drive me crazy, oh baby, I can't deny these conversations. You got me dancing on ceilings. You got me feeling these feelings. These conversations. You know it's my heart just stealing, and if it breaks, I need healing. These conversations. You drive me crazy, oh baby. You say you want me, then hate me. These conversations, you drive me crazy, oh baby, I can't deny these conversations. You got me dancing on ceilings, you got me feeling these feelings. These conversations, you know it's my heart just stealing, and if it breaks, I'll be healing. You got me losing, these conversations. Conversations.
Yeah, amazing song from our guest tonight, Ali, all the way in the US, all the way in Los Angeles, and she's joining us on Music Nights. Lovely,
Just
lovely.
to add, Vokzman, if you Love is Blind, the ultimate, Too Hot to Handle, those shows, that's the type of song you'd hear on those shows. That's one early.
Which song? Conversations.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Which show?
On your, do you know Love is Blind? Netflix, Love is Blind.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The dating show.
Yes, and there's one that's called Too Hot to Handle. There's one that's called The Ultimatum.
Okay,
There's
yeah.
one
They're
that's
always
called.
naked on those shows.
They play this type of songs there. They play these type of songs there.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not sure what MasterCard is doing with this project. They just released it, but I feel like it should be more places because it's like that kind of vacation beach vibe, you know? So yeah, I'm with you there, Lloyd.
Yes, the song was released this year, so please go and check it out. Conversations by Ellie. It's out. Go check it out. Beautiful song. As I said before I played the song, Boy Smart, brother. The mic is yours. The platform is yours. Please unmute.
Okay, quick one. I just want to say this. Like, I'm dropping my new project. It's coming out on September next month, and I just want to keep it locked with you guys. So I'm a follow. Like, I just want you guys to follow me, yeah. Cause so when I drop the new song, you guys can be among the first listeners. And also, the song you played right now, "Conversation" by Ellie, that was a very amazing song. I want to say a big shout out to her for her. She did a very great job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And good luck on your project, Boy Smart.
Shout out, Boy Smart. Shout out, brother. Thanks for coming through and joining us on music nights and music nights. So I think we've touched on quite a few things. We've touched on your music, your family. You've given us quite some good information about you. Thanks so much. Thanks so much. And actually, I think I like the fact that you also just went quite broad in with your answering. You just didn't give us a yes or no answer that sometimes you get on these spaces. We didn't get that from you at all. It happens, Ellie. It happens. It happens. It happens. But we make it work. So shout out. Thank you so much. It's an hour and 30 minutes now. It's an hour and 30 minutes now into the space, and we're with our guest, yes, Ali B, all the way in LA. So Ali, regarding women in music, regarding women in music, we've touched on about the topic of creditation, right? Being credited in
Mm.
music, and how it affects you, the artist, mostly because we fans, we don't see that, we don't even know. From your side, how has that perhaps affected you? Have you come across that? And also, perhaps, is there ways that you have worked with it so that it doesn't happen to you, or is there ways that you can advise perhaps someone in the space who is a vocalist who also perhaps goes through certain things like these, where they can get help or how they can help themselves out from getting out of such things?
Okay, so when you talk about like getting credit, what do you mean specifically? Like what would be the instance that something bad has happened?
So so in so for instance, right? I'm the vocalist and Lloyd makes the beat.
Mhm.
Um, Normally, what we always see is that Lloyd is the artist in the song, right? But in actual fact, I believe the song was made by both of us. So it's not Lloyd featuring Vokzman, it's Lloyd and Vokzman because I was the composer. We could say that I was the lyricist. I mean, I came up with the vocals and the arrangement. He just came up with the beat. So and then that happens unfairly regarding. I mean, when it comes to me receiving back my monies or getting all kinds of rewards, right? You know these things. So it's happening quite a lot in South Africa, especially regarding towards female vocalists, and it's quite sad because one of the most recent thing that I always go back to is that a fan tweeted a song and literally tweeted the way that she read it on streaming services and stuff, right? So it was, I can't remember the artist, but it was featuring Seo. It's featuring Seo. But Seo came back into the tweet and she was like, I hate how this continues. I hate how this thing keeps on happening. I wasn't featured in this song. I was a part of the song. But
Mm.
that's what I'm saying now. But us, the fans, we don't know. We don't know this thing. We just see what we see, and perhaps we just share it on social media or whatever. But now when it comes back to you, like, this shit is just, it's just not right. This shit is just, and it's affecting you. Of course, it affects you in so many ways that perhaps we also don't know, because we don't know everything. So are those things happening to you as a female vocalist, especially with your collaborations with other artists, and so also in Amapiano and Afro beats and so? Thank you.
Okay. So I mean, I think at the end of the day, it all comes down to, is your business as the vocalist in order? What do I mean? I've heard you talk about Sampra several times, that they have this funding and all that, but there's also SAMRO. These institutions, even if they are flawed, meaning they don't do business right, maybe there's some small corruption or whatever I've heard, you need to make sure that you are registered. Why? Because as soon as you write something, you can go there and you can register your song without having to send them the song file or the sound recording. I believe that's how it works here. So I'm a member of the equivalent of SAMRO. It's called BMI. BMI, which is oh my gosh, I don't even know what it stands for. But what I do is I'm registered with them, and they're responsible for collecting my royalties. They're responsible for registering my songs. The songs can be with music, they can just be lyrics, or it can just be music. What happens at that point is that you now have some sort of legal standing. Now, let's be honest, every place is different. The United States, let's say, has a very well established legal system or process for music, right? But let's say South Africa is also good. But let's say if you're in another country that is on the come up, the institution may not be that strong, but you have to have from your side at least yourself registered, because that's the first and foremost way that you're able to protect yourself. And this is what I meant about working with artists who want to, use maybe my label or our collaborations as a step up. One of the things that I advocate for is to make sure that you have what's called an IPI number. What is an IPI number? Your IPI number is basically your songwriter number throughout the world. So if you collaborate with an American, you collaborate with someone from Niger, you collaborate with someone from Germany or Japan or Brazil, you you are able to register that number not just in South Africa, but also with their organizations, so that if your song is played there, if it's licensed there, you will get your share, right? Now, in the case of um, what you're talking about, maybe with CO, you have to in those rooms have very uncomfortable conversations before you start working, and people don't want to have those conversations. So when you asked Lloyd asked me earlier, okay, are you down to just collaborate with anybody? It used to be the case, but now I can't, because people don't have their business in order. And when I'm registering songs, or we have songs on platforms, we're not able to collect all the digital royalties because someone isn't registered with Samro. They don't have their IPI number, and we're not able to maximize the song copyright, right? So at the very beginning, you can love how great someone produces, but you are limiting yourself on what your business can be. And the long term of business for vocalists, for producers, is music publishing, and it's your catalog. To get on TV shows like Love Island, to get on, you know, video games, you have to have that business in place. So I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, and forgive me if maybe some of it is a bit confusing. But ultimately, when you go into your session, you need to have what's called a split sheet. A split sheet says, what is your share? What is my share? Then you need to ask, who is going to own the master? The master is the finished song. That person who owns the master gets to decide what happens to the song. Does it stay on the laptop? Does it go to iTunes and Spotify? Right? Does it get licensed to Netflix for a TV show? Does it get licensed to EA Sports for FIFA 2022? you know. That person is now, you're in business with that person forever, right? So you need to make sure also that the people you're collaborating with have demonstrated to you that they have good business, and that for the lifetime of the song, which is the rest of your life, you guys can do good business with each other. It can't just be, I just want to sing, or I just want to be out there. You can do that initially, maybe, but you should know that there may be down the line going to be some headache if you don't work out your business in the beginning. And that's why it's called the music business, because there's a strong emphasis on the business. And if you don't know the business, you need to learn the business so that when it comes down to who puts out the song, if they own the masters and you haven't indicated that you want to be equally credited, then they can do whatever. If it's a work for hire, meaning they've paid you a fee and now they own your whole performance, they can do anything with your performance forever because they've paid you for it. Or if you're going into the situation and you say, okay, we won't exchange monies for a feature, we will split the publishing, meaning I will still own a share and you own a share. Then you maybe now can have a bigger conversation about what happens to the song afterwards. Those are real conversations that you have to have. And if you get to the point that now someone has done something and you're just finding out about it, it means that you didn't protect yourself and you didn't do your job with your business from the beginning. Don't open your mouth, don't record a single note until you have your business organized. And I think that's just the hard truth about what we have to do, as if we want to be professionals and have long-term careers.
I think you said it quite well, and straight up and bluntly. And hopefully, if there's someone who's gonna make music, I think I'm gonna make music at some point. I don't know. I'm gonna take your advice definitely. Thanks for sharing that. And just also just to follow up on the question, is some of these things, some of these problems, perhaps some of these nitty gritty things that one should have done, is that something that also happened to Kelly's? Kelly's.
Khalees.
Yeah,
Oh.
Kelly's. Oh. Is that something that happened to her regarding her song and how it ended up being sampled for Beyonce?
So remember, I talked about the masters. She doesn't own her masters, so she has no control over who licenses the song. If she has a share of the publishing, for example, if she wrote on the song or she negotiated to take a percentage of the royalties, which is publishing, then whenever that song is licensed, she'll get a check. But she does not control the business over how it's licensed. So no one had to ask her permission because she doesn't control what happens to that recorded version of the song. So in another way, Beyonce could have gone on her own, like I covered Beyonce's song. If I put that song on Spotify, I pay a fee to license the right to recreate the song. I can also take that version of the song and license it to someone else, if that makes sense. She just doesn't control who owns that version of the song. And until she owns control, she really was just kind of, I love Khalees. She's iconic, bossy, but she was just running her mouth, unfortunately. And it's not really good what she was doing, because people who don't know believes that she was wronged and she doesn't have any rights, unfortunately. Yeah.
Eesh, eesh. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. Because I mean, some of us we look from. I mean, we just see the videos of ranting and ranting and ranting, but we don't really know what happened or what's happening behind closed doors in those boardrooms, in those board meetings. So thank you for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that indeed. There's a question here. There's a question here that has been asked that needs to be shared in the space. So Auric Music has asked, how can African house artists break into American music industry, specifically focusing on house music? What are your advices, please? Thank you.
Absolutely. I think there's a couple of ways to go about it, and I think you have to do a little bit of everything. Number one, recognize that Americans are primarily only speaking English. So you should make sure that if you put out an EP or project, make it for Africa, but make sure you have at least one song on there that's in English that can be put on a playlist or that can be mixed in by DJs this side. At least, at the very least, have a very strong hook that's in English, because people don't know what they don't know, and they don't know, that they could learn isiZulu, or they don't even know that they're speaking or listening to Kosa, So you have to make sure that you have something that's very approachable out the gate. Don't lose your culture. Don't forsake it for something else. But if you want to be in someone else's market, you have to make sure you prepare a space for them. And in American market, it has to be in English. That's to start. Secondly, you have to be, if it's house music, even if you yourself are not a DJ, invest in having very good mixes and find the right place for your mix to be. Is it SoundCloud? Is it Mixcloud? Is it YouTube? Is it all of them? So have a way to make your music accessible for discovery. Playlisting is also good, but there's so many on the streaming platforms that I think is difficult to break through, right? But again, it helps because Spotify is really great with their algorithms. People who already love house music um, will maybe find your music, especially if it's in English, right? So you have to think about that. I think social media plays a tremendous role, and being very intentional about what's called SEO, which is search engine optimization, and understanding the value of each platform on social media. Twitter has a particular value. Instagram has a particular value. TikTok has a value. YouTube has a value. But if you want to put the same thing on every platform and then say they don't work, they're not going to work because people go to each of those for different reasons, right? So you have to make sure you understand how you are marketing yourself on social media and making sure that it matches the platform. So if you're going to put out a song that you want to do well in America, um, you also need to understand a little bit about American culture, which would either come from your collaborations, and letting that person who's American guide you and tell you do this for America because they may know better than you. um, Beyonce, she's put out a house record. Why don't you remix one of her songs, and do a mashup with your own version, right? You have to find a way to capture that audience, and capture their attention in a way where they already are. But if it's just, you should just like my music because I exist and I'm great. Yeah, all of us feel like we're great, and we should feel that way. But what a lot of people fail to realize is that the reason why, again, going back to the business, we're in business for a reason, and businesses are in business to solve people's problems. If you're in business because you just want people to listen to you, okay, but how are you solving their problem, right? You have to make sure that if they're looking for groovy house music, okay, that's a problem to solve, right? But make sure you understand what kind of music that they are going to respond to, making sure you have the right sounds, right? So you have to think about what you are doing for the audience that you're serving. And if you don't know the audience, then you need to find ways to learn the audience. And a lot of times it is through collaboration. And you have to be open to collaborating. So, in my instance, I would say a lot of times when I collaborate with artists or producers from SA, or just outside of the United States, I have to let them lead. I have to accept that something that maybe I thought was dope from an American point of view is not going to be well received because I don't, the audience is different. So you have to be confident that you can give something, but you also have to be humble enough to allow yourself to be led by somebody who's more knowledgeable. So I know that's another long response, but I do hope that that's helpful.
I absolutely think it is. I absolutely think it is. Thanks for sharing that.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
for thanks for going at it as you did also. And I think also, some of the things you mentioned, just like how uh, some most of the negative energy that towards black coffee, on how he gave his recent album, which is not South African. I mean, he did it for the rest of the world. He had his market for it, but our people in South Africa don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
They still want him to make home brewed, and he can't. And he said it. He said it in the space, like, I can't go back to home brewed. I've moved on. But yeah, you said some really amazing, great points there. Thank you so much, Ellie.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're not so shy, You're not. You're quite cool.
Oh, thanks. Well, you could
Even
be cool and shy, right?
like, I guess so. I guess so. I mean, there's some comments in the in the comment section saying, "What a beautiful and calm soul." She's dropping some gems. Okay, then a few people are saying Vox is voxamizing. Hey, yeah, I'll ignore those ones.
My friend,
um,
that's a t-shirt idea right there. I'd buy
crazy, crazy.
it.
Another comment: amazing stories. Thank you, truly inspiring. Ellie has a beautiful voice, so people have been really enjoying you and
Thank you guys. Thank you for
enjoy,
joining.
enjoying your time with us. So what I'll do, Ellie, we'll close with Lion. Is that okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. So what I'll do now, I think I'll ask maybe my last question, and then what we always do in a space, we give last remarks. So if you're in the space and you'd like to grab the mic and perhaps give some flowers to a gift, give some flowers to Ellie, and even thank us. I don't know. Maybe you want to thank me for how I sound amazing too. Please grab the mic and give your last remarks regarding today's space before we close. Before we close, because that's always very important to me. So yeah, please do that. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. We know all your voices here. Some of you, yes. So please come up and grab the mic. None of your voices are as bad as they seem, perhaps. So, Ali, I think I'll ask maybe two more last ones, and then we'll close it off. Regarding music, can we expect anything? Perhaps in the rest of 2020, I mean 2022, can we expect anything? And also, is there any projects also perhaps in the next year or so that you're planning? And regarding touring, what are your plans? What are your plans?
Mm.
You did mention earlier that you're working on something and in coming here and performing. When can we expect that? Please share that. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Gosh, I don't have anything concrete to share. This year, the collaborations have been, up and down, hit and miss. And so I haven't even put out any new music this year, which is wild. And definitely not what I anticipated to happen. But I think last year, 2021, was the first year. That I started putting out new music again. And it was a big learning year. I used the year really to understand the new landscape of streaming and everything. So this year, it's all about executing. And I've just been shy to do anything if I didn't feel like it was the level. So, if you are a fan or you're interested in learning more, definitely follow me. I think I'm cool and fun to follow, and now that we've all chatted with one another, hopefully we can converse a bit more in these Twitter streets. But I definitely have a new cover coming next month, of Anita Baker's Sweet Love. And that one I will release on the DSPs. And then I mentioned the collaboration with Chavez, from Kathleen Hong. So we have the track now, and we're just trying to decide on the direction. I'm not sure if it'll come out this year or if it'll be early next year. Then Joker Ray, I wanted him to speak, but he's at work, and he said it's a bit noisy. But we have collaboration with Sir We. It's mostly their project, but we're going to release a lead single for Valentine's Day, and that will be released on my label. So I'm super excited about that. That's the first like kind of project that's not my project that I'm helping to executive produce, and that'll be early to 2023. But just watch this space, as they say. I'm always working. A large part of my day to day is I'm a work for hire, and I do songwriting for people. I'm on a platform called soundbetter.com. So I do a lot of like vocal production and a lot of things on the backside of production, that are not necessarily my own releases. So just be on the lookout for that. Here I'm building my band, so I will start doing live music by the end of the year again. And the plan is to bring that band to South Africa, hopefully for the next summer season. So we're looking further afield, because we had a few things to do in the meantime, to fund it, and to get the right energy in place. But we're on the way, and that's the best way to put it, is that we're on the way. We're on the way.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Definitely, definitely. And regarding also your record label, are there potential artists that or you already perhaps are working with regarding releasing under your stable?
Yeah, so the first, what we're doing, I think now is more so project based, than it is like signing someone long term. So if you have a project that you're putting out and you want to work with somebody to help you kind of conceptualize, branding, marketing, your sort of all around strategy, then that's really what I'm offering at the moment. With Chavez, it's a little bit more of artist development. But again, it's something Black Coffee said. He doesn't want to own artists. He just wants to give them opportunity. And I think that's really the value proposition of my label, is just to take what I know, in my experience, in helping dedicated, passionate individuals, to take it to the next level. So if you're interested, in something like that and have a project, then I would say get at me. I'm always open, to help and to collaborate, as well.
Lovely to hear that. Lovely to hear that. Before I ask perhaps my last question, let me give Lloyd the mic. Lloyd, Binch, good friend of mine. Anything from your side?
Um, yeah. I think music nights, we our guests are always, storytellers. They're storytellers. We sometimes have guests on other spaces. They're not this open. Yeah, but on music nights, Hashem, you guys give us the red carpet experience with your storytelling. So shout out to you, Ellie. I wish you all the best, and thanks for joining us. Hopefully, we're gonna have you on our other spaces. Who knows? Maybe. So yeah.
I'm down. I'm here. I'm part of the community. So thank you for having me, Lloyd and Voxman. I'm so grateful. Appreciate it. And for everyone who's joined in and listened, thank you for all the wonderful comments. Thank you so much. I just have nothing but gratitude.
And regarding who you're listening to, Ali, who are you listening to now? Like who are you playing? Yes, who comes first?
Honestly, it depends on my mood. But categorically, I think that's the best way to put it. Thanks to Everything House Music and Deep House Fridays. I think it's called. I've been put onto a lot of new producers. But I would say like Soulfrika is like one of my favorites at the moment. China Carmeleon is also like up there. Um, if I'm listening to deep house, and then I'll let like the algorithm just kind of do its thing. If you guys have mixes, that's like my favorite thing. I love DJ mixes all the way down because I feel like you get so much. So DJs that I love in the Amapiano space, this guy named Romeo Makota on YouTube. He's always a vibe, lots of like great soulful house, Amapiano music. I know there was a conversation, I guess it's private piano, but he puts up great mixes. I also love like gospel house. So anything that's like four to the floor with some soulful vocals is for me. I love Afro beats. Some of my favorite artists that side are Benson, Fireboy DML, and yeah, on this side, um, I don't know. I haven't even really been listening to a lot of American music. I'll be honest with you, because I think for me, my head is so much in the global space, and especially electronic music as a vocalist and house music. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. And I hope that is a decent list, and you guys don't shame me later.
No, we won't. We won't definitely. And I think if you really like and enjoy Soul Freaka on Friday, this coming Friday, we're gonna have an artist named Ezra Mlocho. So they actually co-own same son records. So he's gonna be there. So they are quite similar in their music. So you probably gonna love him too. So we're
Okay.
gonna start with him on Friday on the Deep House Space.
I will be there.
Oh, the lineup is crazy. Yeah, the lineup is always crazy, but yeah, it's gonna be lovely, and that's gonna be in the wee hours from your side, right?
What time is it? It's in the
It's
afternoon.
yeah, it's 12 p.m. our
Oh,
side.
I
okay.
think it's 7 a.m. for you, Ellie.
Yes, I think I always catch it in the mornings, but we'll see. I'm sure I'll be able to join. You know, I have no problem even on Jazz Request Sundays. I'm up in the middle of the night, so I join. You know.
You actually do join. Shout out for that. Let's give Boy Smart the mic. Unmute, brother.
What's up, Ellie? I'm trying to write you, but I think your DM is not open, so I don't know. Can you hear me?
You got to follow me so that you
Yeah, I
can
do.
DM me.
Yeah, I do. I do.
Really?
I'm following you already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I have to follow you back. Okay,
All right, thank
I will
you.
do so.
Boy Smart just wants to get into games.
I'm saying.
He just wants to
He
get
moves
into
fast.
games.
We just met. I mean, gosh. No.
Imagine that. Yeah, yeah, no. But yes, lost remarks. Thank you so much, Ali. Um, we've been talking about this. I mean, I think 2 months ago that we'd like to have you, and we've had you finally on music nights. Thank you so much for allowing us to dwell further into your career, into your life of music, and it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope the listeners enjoyed because I did absolutely. Um, I think it always gives me a refreshing feel, just to know artists a bit more, to know them deeper than what we see. When I say see, what we see in the music, what we see out there, the pictures, your Instagram live. I think it's just quite refreshing and quite down to earth, just to get to know you, hear you laugh at us, hear you say a joke. So I enjoy that with our spaces because it gives us that privilege. So thank you so much for giving us your time so early in the morning, your side. And I wish, as always, I wish you all the best. um, referring to your life and your music going forward, record label, everything. And I can't wait to see you when you come here. I definitely can't wait. Please, 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 when you do have the date for that, please share it with us so we can come and check you out and see you perform live. That would be lovely. That would be so amazing. So from my side, this man who's now called Vokzmizing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time. Thank you for your time a lot. Can we get some last remarks from your side, please? Thank you.
Sure. So once again, thank you. And my heart is full of gratitude for just the opportunity and the hospitality that you have always shown on all of your spaces. And I think for me, and this I hope doesn't come off any other way than what it is that South Africa has given me so much in terms of music, in terms of different perspective, and I'm so grateful, to have been able to spend this amount of time and, in Johannesburg. And I don't know, it's just changed me in a way that I'm really grateful for. And so I thank you for making yourself available so that people near and far can get a little bit of taste of what it is and what you guys have to offer. And I just hope for nothing but the best for the artists and for the country itself, because I think you guys are deserving and you have so much to give. And I wait for the world to really understand, the South African force. It's really a beautiful thing. Um, and so I say that even though Music Nights is not about South Africa, but the hosts are there and you guys are always there. And I'm very grateful for that. For me, from my side, on to the next thing, onward and upward, and we're on the way. And I look forward to staying in touch with everyone who's followed today. I will follow back. And just thank you for being a part of this journey and for allowing me the time and for your ears to listen to all that I have to say. I'm very grateful.
It's an honor. It's an honor. And I just wanted to ask you one last thing. One last thing. Um, what's your take? What's your take on our Twitter Spaces? Because we do music spaces. But what's your take on it? And also, is there something that's similar, perhaps, that America is doing that side? We never really see any American Twitter Spaces, but have you? Is someone else? Are there other people doing this way? Perhaps.
I honestly haven't really seen. But I don't know if it's that I haven't seen or if I'm not looking. um, I know that like everybody's on crypto and NFTs, and there's so much space about that. And it seems like sometimes the conversations are always about relationships, not too much focused on the music, um, you know, or empowerment or professional development or. But I haven't seen a lot, from the time that I've been on Twitter, necessarily focused on music or highlighting artists in this way, unless it's Twitter music or some of those big accounts. So I think what you guys are doing is really unique, and I think that's why you'll continue to grow.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words. Thanks for the flowers. Thanks for the
Welcome.
flowers.
Welcome.
We reciprocate them back to you. Definitely,
Thank you. I
definitely.
prefer roses. Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, okay. We don't want your husband fighting us now, please. We don't want your husband fighting us. You were like, who the hell brought these roses here? But
Yeah, good point. Good point. Keep them virtual for now.
yes, yes, definitely. So as I said, we're gonna close off with the song titled "The Lion." But before I play it, Ellie, could you just give us the intro into it and just tell us, yes, how it came about and just a summary about it? Thank you.
Yeah, Lion is probably my favorite song, and I think it's great that we're finishing because you finish how you start. And I started this space telling you guys about how my father passed away and the reason why I sort of went on this journey that led me to South Africa was in pursuit of something, right? To honor him and to keep my promise. So you'll hear Shine On, and Shine On is basically me as his daughter deciding to, yeah, continue that journey. My dad was my lion. His name was Lionel. So Lionel the lion. And the song is just a dedication to him. But it really, people have reached out to me and say they play the song on their father's birthday or their mom's birthday, someone who's maybe passed away, as a way for them to remember. Um, yeah, the love and the encouragement that they gave them while they were alive. So this song is the song I love to close with. I closed with this song at the Ticket Pro Dome when I performed, and it's always my promise to shine on. So as we close, it's a perfect closing to shine on, Dad. You're going to shine on through me and the legacy that I built, and it starts in spaces like this with you guys on music nights. So thank you so much.
Oh, love that. Thank you. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you so much. And yes, may you shine on us. May you shine on us. Um, when I think of people who have passed away, yes, I think of, yeah, I think of my mom too. So thank you, Ellie. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Awesome.
And to everyone else, thank you for joining. Thank you for coming through to Music Nights. It's been a pleasure. And tomorrow we're going to hang out with Mike Del Ferro. Mike Del Ferro, yes. That guy plays the piano amazingly. We're going to be with him tomorrow for music night again. Yeah, this week was crazy. This week is crazy. And then on Thursday, it's Zion for everything house music. And then on Friday, it's the deep house space. On Saturday, I'll be sleeping. On Sunday, it's gonna be the jazz. Ooh-wee. One day, I hope my forefathers are looking at me, and they pay me off really good with all of this. I really hope they do. But enjoy the song, please. This last song as we close off the space. And keep safe, everyone. Keep warm. Stay blessed.
You told me if I cry, doesn't make me weak, and that I can have my pride, but to hold it humbly. And from across the universe, somehow this came to be. We were constellations lost, but always destiny like a stream of water, gently molding me. Didn't raise a little girl, you chose to raise a queen. 'Cause you are my lion. I'll take your pride and I'll fight on the rolling sound of your
lovely song. What happened there now? Oh, okay. Sorry for that. Um, that was Lion. Oh, that's actually another song from Ellie. Yes. Spotify sometimes just goes straight to the next song. But thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you. Shout out to our guest, to Ellie. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you so much. Your time was amazing. Finally, Lloyd shows up at some point. Thank you, everyone. Cheers. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And Ellie, from my side, enjoy the rest of your day, please. Stay blessed, stay well. And of course, never let your friends listen to bad music.
Mhm.
Um, cheers, cheers. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
That was good.